I don't know if is that copywritten? I don't want to.
No, nothing's copywritten.
Okay.
If you're brave enough.
Well, let's get ready to bumble. No,
That's about right.
Yeah, I'm not about to get sued. Hey, everybody.
Bumble away.
Dude, have you failed recently?
Never in my life.
Me either. Like, I'm perfect all the way around.
I mean, yeah. Well, that was easy. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Yeah, we're awesome. Winning is all.
That's all we do.
Do.
I screw up all the time. Like, I literally just screwed up before we started this.
Yeah.
I had to stop and start over again.
You should have saw the buttons he had to press and reconfigure. I was lost.
So, yeah, failure is a very large part of my day in and day out and momentary life.
Yeah. Well, you're not alone. I think everybody goes through failure. It's just really depending on how you take that failure and adversity is how you're going to be either treated and looked at in the future of like if you can handle things.
You looked at me pretty weird when I messed that up.
Yeah, only because I wouldn't have known what to do if it was me.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I was so confused. Like, hold on, man. Like, I thought that's how we were supposed to do it. But, it's funny, man, because I was thinking about some of my past failures. I know we've had stories about some of the things that I did and did not do correctly. And even one of my kids asked me the other day, they're infatuated with this whole people being fired. Like, I remember my daughter, the first time that I was explaining to my wife I had to terminate somebody.
Yeah.
And I used the term fire. And she was like, Dad, you set someone on fire?
Absolutely.
Like, it had to be done, daughter.
It's the only way.
It had to be done.
It has to be done, people.
Dude, you should have seen her eyes. It's still crazy to this day for me to think about it. But they were... It's one of those things, like, I've been fired so many times, more times than I would like to count. And on the podcast, we've asked other people.
Yeah.
And I feel so alone.
Well, yeah, I've never been fired. I think we talked about this before, but yeah, you've been fired a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's because you don't listen to anybody.
I just know better than they know.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
It's jacked up.
Yes, sir, boss.
Right?
I agree.
I think the hardest part about it was I was a misguided teen, but I've been working since my teen years. So my very first job, I wasn't fired from that. I did a lot of entrepreneurial things from there. My second professional job, I wasn't necessarily fired, but I was given the option that I could resign.
Yeah.
Yeah, is what I think they try to do to prevent unemployment or some kind of thing.
That'll do it, yeah.
So, I mean, I took that route, and being that it was a county/city job, I got to take PERS and all of that stuff, and I was already working at another place. But then after that, it just got weird. It felt like I was in competition with everybody who was ahead of me. And it wasn't like I tried to ever do anything to show them out per se or be an a-hole. I just wanted to do my job better to get to where they were. And I didn't know if people took it as me being a threat, which sometimes that's what I felt like. As I got older and really dissected the things, man, maybe I was just kind of threatening how I was, because I mean, you know me, and anybody who's close to me knows me. When I set my goal or my eyes on something, on a goal, I go for it.
Laser focus.
Yeah, there's no time for anything else but that, and I'm going to do that until I get that. I don't care if it's going to take me 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years. I'm long-term focused that way. But, aside from the just firing thing, I've had so many other failures of things that I've done. When it comes to, I've done retail thing. I've done drop shipping. I did the garage sale thing. Shout outs to Gary V again. I know I shout him out a lot, but I do appreciate especially his empathy, not just his wine brand, but his empathy in general.
I can't drink wine.
Yeah. Oh man,
Tears me up.
You got to get better, bro.
I don't know if that's an option.
Yeah. Look, you're failing. You're failing at drinking wine.
Yeah, that's true. I'm pretty bad at that.
But I really, I went through a whole lot of misconceptions when it came to what I needed to do in life. And like I said, the retail moment and the drop shipping and all of those things, they were easy for me because I could quote unquote sell. I was kind of a salesperson, like buy Jordans and sell them at a higher rate and stuff. But it was never, I didn't feel any connection with it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what makes me different versus I do now, because I can go in and I can say wholeheartedly, like, look, I love this, this, and this, and I will train the people that I employ this, this, and this, and it's up to them if they listen.
Yeah, well, that's with anything. I've never done anything that I would call entrepreneurial until more recently, and that's just because I've really fallen in love with what I'm doing. Like all this media stuff is just like, I wake up or I come home from work and I will just edit audio video for 5-6 hours at a time. I'm always podcasting. I'm always doing video. I'm always like something. I always have some sort of thing going on. And until recently, I didn't really have anybody. I was just doing it for myself. And I mean, I was doing it on the TV show that I'm on, the Take It Outside. Like I was just kind of filled in for camera because we didn't really have a big budget or anything. I just was there doing it, and I was like, this is actually great. Like I really love it, and I learned a lot really quickly, and now I'm like obsessed with it. I was always into the social media thing. I knew how important it was for like brand building and all that stuff, and I've always been interested by marketing, but it all kind of like came together one day. I was like, whoa. Yeah, that's something you could do. And it, like, I don't even feel like I've started a business. It just kind of happened. Like,
well, and it's cute to an extent that, and I feel the same way for me, that after you went through all the trial and error, that you got to that point now where you can actually feel and see it.
Well, before I had always wanted to, like, it's always like that. Like everybody says, it's this like dream of having your own freedom to have your own business, whatever. I never saw it as a viable option because I just didn't really know anything about business, and I really still don't. But I think it wasn't like a lot of the people I look up to and I read like biographies, autobiographies, all that stuff. A lot of them said this is how it felt when their thing started, and that's how you know it's kind of your right thing you're doing, is because it didn't feel like they were trying to start something. Mm-hmm.
Well, it gets to the point where you work 70, 80 hours a week, but you don't regret doing it.
Yeah, like I just spent all Christmas Eve editing video and stuff, and it wasn't like, the way I look at it is, okay, before I actually did this, like people were paying me to do it, I was doing it on my own anyway. So why does it have to feel like a burden if someone's paying me to do it? Like I might not be as interested in the topic of what I'm editing versus what I would do on my own, but at the same time, it's like it's the same thing. Yeah. So like, it doesn't matter. Like Christmas Day, I was setting up your YouTube channel because like I would do that anyway. Like it's just what am I gonna do? Sit on the couch and watch TV? Like I don't watch TV. I don't do like, this is my only hobby really.
Joto, watching the Joto.
Yeah, like I don't know. It doesn't feel as much like work. I mean, some of the tedious stuff is a lot of work, but it doesn't feel like that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, anything that you really care about doing, it again goes back to the 80-20 rule. 80% of it is going to be either what you love and 20% of what you hate, or 20% of what you love and 80% of what you hate when it comes to certain aspects of it.
Well, some of the editing stuff is 80% hate, but
I can
that's tedious.
Oh man, but especially dealing with me, I am terrible.
No, you're not. I've dealt with worse. Trust me,
man. Like, just us trying to get some things out just took me back.
Yeah, talk about failure.
Yeah,
hold on. Well, I'm gonna roll some of these clips.
Roll some of this.
This is
sad.
Gold. This was sad. This is wow.
Oh. Podcast. Nope. Hey, start it over. Yellow, jello. Platforms for pot. Oh man. Give me 2 seconds. Not that you guys seen that.
Yeah. That's why you stand behind the camera.
Exactly. Oh, dude, like I said, it reminded me from the first time I recorded a song, man. Shout outs to, well, I can't even say it was my very first time, but for some reason the words for that particular song I just could not get. I wrote it so intricate for a sound.
Do you have the song?
Dude,
I want to play it.
I bet I can get it.
I want to play it on this right now.
Oh man, I don't even know if the it's probably bad.
Yeah. All right, dig that up for me. I'm gonna play it under this.
But you know, again, when it comes to failure, I think everybody really just needs to open up their minds and know that it's not ultimate failure. You know, ultimate failure is if you're
dying. Dead.
Yeah, pretty much dead, or
that's not even failure. That's just gonna happen.
Yeah,
like, you don't have a choice in that.
At that point, you know your decision has been made by the higher ups.
Well, it's funny because my uncle has a business, and like you have a business, and I don't know, a few other people I know kind of really are into like their own freelance stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you really consider freelance a business. It kind of is and kind of isn't, but
honestly, I do. I'm gonna let you finish that thought, but
no. I don't really have an answer. I mean, you're making money of your own.
Yeah, the
willpower,
thing that I feel about freelancing is
I do a ton of it. I don't know. I don't consider myself as like a business owner right now. I don't.
But you are. Mm-hmm. For one, you own your brand because you are your brand when it comes to freelancing. Mm-hmm. For two, I give people a lot of props who do freelance, because a lot of people who do freelance do it aside from their regular 9 to 5. And to me, it's still you taking that necessary step to not have somebody else dangle your whole life in front of them, because some people put themselves in on that level. Even with our company, you know, I don't want to ever have anybody feel like they just need us. I want them to be able to be strong and suitable for themselves. Mm-hmm. You know, and I would love to be able to call upon somebody for a specialty or something and have them paid, you know, a whole different way versus just coming and doing things for friends for life. Mm-hmm. You know, so there's a large amount of respect that I think should go out there for freelance workers, and for those people who may have skills and talents that they don't even know just yet, and they're trying to find it.
Well, that's not easy to do either. I didn't really know how much I like this stuff until the last couple of years, you know. Like, I've always messed with it. I've always had cameras around and audio stuff around, and like it was always just a fun thing to do. But then at some point you realize, and that's the thing I have with like a lot of the people I know are artists of mm-hmm. that nature, like artsy people. And that's who I hang around with the most. And a lot of them are so self-doubting of their ability, and it's almost like anytime I make any money doing stuff, they're always like blown away, and I'm like, you can always make money doing things you like. You're just, a lot of people have this like negativity towards self-promotion, which that's nobody's going to do it for you. No. So that's kind of a failure in and of itself. If your goal is to make money off of it, mm-hmm. you can make money off of anything. There's some weird shit out there that people make money off of.
Dude.
Like I don't even I think we can talk about it on this podcast about the things people make money off on the internet, but
I mean, it's scary.
I know there's people out there probably making you know, $10,000-$20,000 on top of their income selling like woodcraft stuff. Like, it's just,
even if you just think about the whole phenomenon of YouTube in general now, my kids, and I know my kids aren't the only ones because they're so popular, they watch other kids play games. Mm-hmm. Like, that is a real thing. Some of those kids
make millions of dollars a year.
Exactly. And the fact that video games are becoming like almost a sport, mm-hmm. like, I really need to start investing in that. Like, I'm telling you.
Well, and I feel like if you're serious enough about something, I mean, nobody's going to hire you if you have a shitty product.
You're right.
I mean, that's just, it has to be good first. Like, mm-hmm. I'm not claiming that I have the best video out there, but I make stuff for you like really quick. And you know, I'm not out there saying I'm a filmmaker or everything I do is social media content. It's not. I'm not making you a documentary. I'm making you things to post on your social media to build your business. That's what I do.
Look, dude, just to reiterate on that though. You're great at what you do.
Thanks.
I not only do my wife and I sit back and say, wow, this looks good. You know, we get people calling us and texting us and stuff like, hey, you know, you need to give him more money. And I say, hey, stop. Delete.
Give me their numbers. I like those people. Thank you, people.
But they are very, very impressed. And
you know, I just think it's a reality of me knowing what I want, what I am. Mm-hmm. Like if somebody wants to come to me and make a commercial for TV, like that's not what I do. I'm sure I could do it, and it would take a really long time, but I just had a drum company come to me that my buddies and associated with. I just said something like, hey, can they had this big event coming up. I was like, you know, if they're interested, I'll come out and film it for you guys for, you know, whatever I'm charging. And said, here, tell them the price. Here it is. And they agreed. Went out there and made them like, a lot of people pay for a video. So you get a video. And I was like, that's not what I'm making you. I will make you multiple videos of the same video for social media. I broke it out. I made a long one. I break a bunch of short ones. And I made little like intros, outros. And I broke it up into different media pieces. I took pictures from it. So it's like a social media bundle that they can use indefinitely. Mm-hmm. And I have the footage. So if they need more stuff, I can always go back and say, hey, for another X amount, you know, I can break it out into more and this and that. Right. It's not... I'm very aware of what I want to do. Like I could go and film somebody a podcast today. I have the equipment, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's, you know, I think the main thing for me that I've started to realize is understand what you want or what you are. If you can't tell people what you're selling, then you're not selling anything. You're just making shit up.
Heck yeah. And, you know, I definitely feel like that with Friends for Life. I charge now people for my time and advice just because my time is limited. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I tell them in a minute, it's not, quote unquote, so much about the money. You know, yes, we need money to survive, but that's not where my bulk revenue comes from. I do this at this point so people don't waste my time.
Oh, you know, yeah, I hate that.
The last thing I want and have to deal with is we have a scheduled appointment and you're late or don't show up or I don't hear from you and I've took time out of my day. But I tell you this, if we got a contract and you pay me $700, $500, $1,000, you know, anything but in that range, I guarantee you're going to be there.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, I had and it's a friend of mine, and he texted me the other day. He sees what I'm doing with you guys and other people, and he goes, "Hey, how much would you charge me to manage my band's page?" Right. And I told him flat out. I said, "I'm not doing it for any less than this." And it was like I smacked him in the face. And I was like, this is a lot of work. Like, I know you probably think I'm just playing on my cell phone and clicking like on Instagram or something, but man, dude, it is hours of an hour. Like I don't think he realized. And I said,
how much
I came back nicely. He was like very offended by it. And I'm like, he's like, "Oh, I'm your dude. You can't cut me a price." And I'm like, no, that is the dude price. Like I am already doing so much of this. I don't have the time to dedicate to it unless you're paying me. Because I also have my own things that I'm doing. Exactly. Like I'm a normal person living a life, and I have things I have to take care of.
Yeah, you got a wife, a family, and all that, man.
So it's like, you know, people get offended when you want to charge them for stuff. But I used to be very, if I get a bad name for myself by telling people no, I'm like, I tell people no all the time now. It's my favorite word. Like, I'm not doing this for free, and no, because it takes a lot of my time. If you want to do it for free, then you can go buy the camera and do it yourself. Like, it's really, that's how I started. So talk about failure, man. That's a failure of mindset right there. Why would I don't think, you don't do stuff for free. Nobody does stuff for free.
No, because even the things that I do for free come back to me in some way. But I guess in the long run, man, I guess to close this one up is if you're dealing with failure out there, just realize if it's not going to affect you, look at it at the 5-5-5 rule. Is it going to affect you 5 minutes from now, 5 hours from now, 5 days from now, 5 months from now, 5 years from now? Like, take care of things in those quantifying expectations. Don't sit there and dwell over failure too much.
Yep. And before we run out of time, don't forget to follow us on social media all day, every day. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
LinkedIn.
TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube.
Later,
we'll be
guys.
back.